Welcome. Going to be doing a little bit of a Zen Doodle here. I'm just using some simple watercolor paper. I've got just a watercolor palette near me. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. You're not making anything special. It's just whatever you feel like, whatever kind of comes to mind to you. We're putting down just the first layer. So I'm using a lot of the skin tones that I kind of tend to use, and some turquoise and some purple. Using like the ochre colors, just more of a, I don't know what you would call a theme, more of like the ground coloring and natural, and just very soothing to me. I really like these colors. This is a palette that I use all the time. But this is just for relaxing. You're just gonna put down whatever you feel like. Now I've decided here to go ahead and just do some blow dryer work because it was a little bit too wet to work with. All right, I've got it dry enough now. Now I'm just kind of using some of the items are actually ones that I use when I make my collages. So I grab them out of my drawer, but feel free to grab anything that's handy. A lid, a cap, anything that's going to make a unique shape. You just want to start putting down some things on top of your main, first pool of paint. You can do it any type of style you want. You can use any color. Like I said, I had just a kind of a little bit of a puddle of paint in my palette. So I was dipping it on the side over there and then just kind of pushing it in. And now I've switched to my paintbrush, and I'm going to start just filling them in. And this is completely whatever you feel like. There's no rhyme or reason. You don't have to count to make sure you're doing the right number of them and that they're perfectly aligned. It's whatever you intuitively feel like. This is all a complete, meditative type, intuitive painting. We're just doing some Zen Doodles. We're not worrying about something that's going to go into a frame as a masterpiece up on the wall. We're just helping to relax ourselves. This is just comfort painting, not concerning ourselves with things. I hope you have some relaxing music on in the background. If you are into real meditative type music and the sleep type music, please make sure you look at the playlists that I've got listed or up in my my Linktree bio. I have a lot of different meditative playlists, and they are hour-long videos, and just helps you to just zen out. But this is where I'm just continuing. This part didn't quite come out as well. It didn't do as good of a job like I was hoping, but it would work fantastic if I had been using either some stamp pads or some acrylic paint. So next time I might try some stuff with some of those items and stencils and pads, and we'll kind of get some different varieties going here, so you're not always seeing the same. And again, I tried with some netting and didn't quite get the effect I wanted, but it did put down some interesting colors. And then it's going to get a little bit too wet here pretty soon, so I'm going to have to dry it again in order to come back and do what I want to do with the actual drawing. And that's where I'll use the pen to do the extra designs. But it's fun to lay down those layers and just give it some depth and texture, and continue on with splattering and just enjoying yourself. And you could add multiple colors. I just did the one color, but feel free to use multiples, or even splattering with like maybe some gouache. Some white gouache would have been nice, because then it would have brought out a little bit, covered up some of the textures and stuff because of the white paint. Or you can even do that at the end, when you're completely done. But, if you find some areas that look like, oh, now let's fill it in a little bit more with some color, now's a good time to kind of do your final color adjustments. before you're going to go in and do your actual, top drawing on top of it. But I thought it needed just a little bit of green because some of the green had kind of gotten mixed with the other colors and created a natural green. So kind of felt like I wanted to put some more into it. And this is, like I said, just some really inexpensive, I think these are Arteza watercolor pads. So nothing super fancy. And of course, I felt like I needed to dry it again, so I didn't want to set it aside and come back and finish this project. So I brought out my blow dryer and took another turn at it to get it dried out, so then I could finish it up with the actual drawings. But I'll leave some information about the products down there, so that way if you did want to get any simple supplies. And then I used my Mr. Pen black. And of course, no rhyme or reason to what exactly you're drawing. Don't be perfect. Don't worry about it being perfectly straight. You could do all sideways lines, all horizontals. You could do circles. You could perfectly outline everything. Nothing is right and nothing is wrong. This is your drawing, your time to just take a deep breath, relax, draw your lines. Try not to think about anything really while you're doing it. This is the time for your mind to kind of check out. And if you're doing it before bedtime, even better. It's perfect for relaxing before you go to bed. Do a nice, enjoyable activity like this. It's very good for your brain. Gives it that chance to kind of unwind. You're not trying to, look at a bunch of things on your phone. You're not trying to, study all these things and zoom through the next video. This is just a project you can do. You can relax. And they're great just even to be able to show your friends and family what you've done. And some of these I've seen from artists, they are just absolutely amazing. So they can be great projects too, not just to, throw away in a drawer or hide away. Be proud of them. And you can use different colors if you want. I did this all in black, but feel free to use multiple colors. Sometimes it's nice if you've done a very dark background on the bottom, or when I use alcohol inks, I do like to come in sometimes with a white pen instead. So I'll use like the Posca whites. They're a really good acrylic marker, so they'll draw over it very easily. Or, like I said, even splattering with white gouache would do a pretty good job as well. But it was very relaxing to do this painting and the drawing. I want to invite you to watch more of them. And if you do have issues with sleeping, please make sure you check out my Art of Rest course. There's information at the end of this video on how to learn more about it or get some good tips on sleeping and setting your bedroom up. And I'm going to leave you to enjoy the rest of this video, the rest of the drawing. I'm going to play you some relaxing music. And if you love the music, like I do, make sure that you follow along for more of it and look for the links in the information. But I thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Make sure you follow so you can keep up. Thanks.